Hey, hello and welcome. Before we get started, you're probably going to notice the shadows from the fan above. You're probably going to notice that my face isn't as well lit as it could be. You might even notice that the sound quality is not pro level. This is just an impromptu. I just jumped on kind of with an inspiration, so forgive the low-tech production quality. Please, if you don't, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm hoping you'll forgive the low-tech production quality because what I want to talk about is important. So what I want to share with you has value in and of itself that should transcend the fact that you can criticize little details about the production value of this live stream. Now, you may say to yourself, but you're a professional coach. You do this for a living. Why don't you have better production value? And to that I would say sometimes I do. To that I might also say, go screw yourself. Don't judge me. But I'm not in that kind of mood today. No, the point is that I have an idea, I have a thought, I want and need to share it with you guys. So that's what I'm doing. That's what's happening. Please pay attention. And let's get into the question that I posed as the title of this live stream. What does being an entrepreneur and being a public speaker have in common? Now, the obvious, not even reaching or digging at all answer is that, well, one is for many of us a big part of the other. In that, if we are entrepreneurs, if we are truly entrepreneurs, which I want to define in a second for you, then being public speakers, or at least skilled in delivery and oration, is very important to our brand, right? It's very important to ourselves, which is our brand. But there's more than that, and I think this is interesting. I've been sort of playing with this all morning. So if you are an entrepreneur and not just someone who is working on building themselves a job, which, by the way, I'm not judging that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be self-employed and build yourself a nice job, don't let anyone tell you that that's somehow less than being entrepreneurial. Okay? But if you're really an entrepreneur, what that actually means, I liken it to being some sort of a spiritual devotee of some sort, right? The spiritualist, here's the difference. Let me back up a second. The spiritualist would, figuratively speaking, kind of sit on a mountaintop for their whole life, swaddled in robes, thinking deep thoughts, and growing their internal world, their internal life. An entrepreneur does that very same thing, with the one exception, the one big difference that while doing it, they create and manifest something physical, something in the real world, something bigger than them. So to be an entrepreneur is not about building a business. It's not about the next big idea. Well, it sort of is. But those things are secondary to the underlying process. And a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we don't really kind of realize this, even though we're doing it, right? You're overcoming one challenge after another. You're facing up to one shortcoming of yours after another in the process, in the service, in the goal of creating something. Now, for you, it might be a fitness business empire. It could be a copywriting shop. It could be anything, right? I mean, we can be entrepreneurial with anything. Before Uber and Lyft were created, nobody really thought to second guess taxi cabs, right? Then an entrepreneur came along and said, oh, I think I'll tackle that. And it's interesting that I chose Uber because talk about one challenge after another. Those guys are, they're in the thick of it. But anyway, so the point is this. The point is that being an entrepreneur is signing on, whether you're aware of it or not, to search out ruthlessly and seek to overcome all of your shortcomings. And so how does that relate to being a good communicator, a good public speaker? Well, have moved, it's just that a lot of people don't know it yet. We've moved out of the era where being a good public speaker is about learning a bunch of external techniques. Correct body language, steepling my fingers thusly, being sure to move like this at this time, those kind of things. Now, they have their place and they're important, but that sort of rigid, outside-in technique-based speaker training is inherently self-centered. Now, hold on. It's inherently self-centered even though you didn't mean it to be. Okay, that's what I want to say. Even though you didn't intend to wind up focusing on you, when you learn things from the outside in, you are focusing on you. And here's the thing. That's not as big of a challenge as learning how to turn yourself into the kind of person that can focus on your audience. And when you do that, when you become the kind of speaker, when you seek to become the kind of speaker who is focused on the audience, you have to learn a whole different set of skills. Because the audience knows right away when you're reciting a canned speech. It's not always inappropriate. I'm not judging it. I'm simply saying that if you spend 3 months creating a canned speech, memorizing it, chunking it down, taking it from fully written to cue cards, from cue cards hopefully to just shorter notes, and then from shorter notes hopefully all the way down to memorized, that is an internally you-focused process. If, however, you learn how to speak clearly, lucidly, stay on track while speaking off the cuff, that is an other-based process. That is a process of, on some level, saying to yourself, how can I connect with and serve the audience better? Right? And this is what we want today. This is what the audiences ask of us today. They want to feel like it's about them, and it should be, of course. And I'm sure that when I say it like that, you instantly realize that it should totally be about your audience, right? This isn't about how good you look up there. This is about what you share. How do you change? How do you inspire? How do you teach, educate? These are the things that today's really, really top-level speakers need to know. And we're seeing the change. We're seeing, new talent come in, and old talent maybe not looking as shiny as they used to. And so the question originally that I posed was, how are they the same, right? How is being an entrepreneur, what does it have in common with being a speaker as the kind of speaker I've just described? And the answer is this: both of them, when engaged in fully being an entrepreneur, being the kind of speaker I'm talking about, require you to dig into yourself in the service of something bigger than you, to find shortcoming after shortcoming, hey Chris, challenge after challenge, and overcome them within yourself in the service of the bigger thing you're doing. And so in that way, being an entrepreneur, which will be massively served by being a good speaker, is also the same as being a good speaker, right? People come to me and they say, hey, I've got a presentation that I just got. It's coming up in 2 weeks. Any tips on how I can just kill it? And usually I kind of chuckle and I say, yeah, I got a great tip for you. Start practicing 3 years ago. Because people don't understand, right? Nobody wants the outside-in polished up techniques anymore. So if I was to give you, in that context, a couple of quick tips, first of all, you wouldn't have time to internalize them because it takes practice. Second of all, even if you internalized them, the likelihood of you looking sort of too polished and stiff is much better than the likelihood of you coming across as natural, calm, confident, and just being there in the service of providing a service to your audience. So, with being an entrepreneur, what do? Whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not, the outcome is not really what being an entrepreneur is all about. The outcome is you build a business, you make money, you serve other people. The real process is you seek to develop yourself, to grow, to become the fullest manifestation of who you can be. And the kind of speaker that is in demand today, successful today, required today, and the kind that I teach you to be, is the kind that does those same things in the service of their audience. So that's where the two have the similarity, right? That's what being an entrepreneur and being a powerful, potent, persuasive public speaker have in common. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. I just had to get that one off my chest. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you'd like to know more about the way I coach speakers, just say yes in the comments below. Reach out to me. Reach out to me directly. Manny Wolf. You can't miss me. I'm everywhere. And let me know that you'd like to talk further. I'm happy to help. Hope this was useful to you. Hope this served you at some level. Hope you have a great day.